Alright, today I'm reviewing the Abasi Concepts Space T. This is a re-review. I've reviewed this guitar before, and in that review I said I was thinking of selling it, but I haven't sold it, I've kept it. And I'm going to go into detail into some of the reasons why I've kept it, as well as how this guitar has held up, how it plays, how it feels to play, all that good stuff. And I know it's a 22 fret, like Telecaster style guitar, but Telecaster purists hate it. I mean, look at this thing. This thing looks insane. So if you're like a Fender super fan, if you're a Telecaster purist, if you don't like crazy looking different guitars, that's perfectly fair. I can understand why you would want an original Telecaster over this. But if you're interested in hearing more about this guitar, stick around. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by Abasi Concepts or any of the brands mentioned in this video. So first, let's hear how this guitar sounds. Alright, there you have it. Now, I really like these pickups. They're the Greg Koch, I think it's pronounced. Those signature pickups from Fishman. And I'm pretty impressed. They nail the sound pretty well. I like how the middle button, it actually kind of does something. It's not a huge difference. It's not going to replace Humbuckers by any means and how it changes the sound. But it is a nice little touch. The cleans are nice, the distortion tones, it's pretty rock. You basically get what you expect. I like how these pickups are noiseless too. That's pretty important. Here I live in an apartment, so there's a lot of EM noise in the air, all that stuff outside of my control. I understand if you like the sound of true single coils, but in this environment for my uses, that's not going to work for me. So let's talk about the playing feel. Now this guitar is awesome. It has, I think, a roasted maple neck, and it has a roasted basswood body. And I love how light this is. It feels amazing to just pick up and play. The bevels are pretty deep, as you can see, and they get pretty thin. So it's really amazing to just play it in this position or play it standing up, as long as you have the guitar high up enough, for reasons I'll get into, but as you could probably see back here. But the body feels both light and solid. The feel of the bridge, it's that kind of vintage style bridge. So if you're into really intonating each string, you might get a little bit frustrated here, but if you like that classic ashtray kind of telly bridge, you're going to love this. The controls feel like a telly would feel. No surprises there. And the neck feels amazing. Now I'm an Ibanez fan through and through. I like thin necks where you play like this and all that stuff. So this neck is thicker than what I'm used to. So as soon as I got this guitar in my hands, this is my own guitar. Again, I'm not sponsored. I felt how thick the neck was and I had some reservations, but as soon as I started playing, it's just one of those guitars that feels like magic. Everything is so confusing because it plays so well and you have so much fun playing it, but it's not the specs I typically prefer. So that makes you ask all kinds of questions. Do I really like thin necks? Is my favorite brand just high quality and I like it? Who knows? This has the stainless steel frets, so the steel feels like steel. It's nice and smooth. It has good durability. If you're doing bends and things, you can feel the smoothness. Personally, I prefer the stainless steel frets, although if it has the typical nickel silver, it's not the end of the world. I don't mind those guitars either. I'm just a fan of guitars in general. But if I had to pick one fretwire material, it would be stainless steel. And then beneath the frets, the fretboard material is Richlite. Now, normally when you're just playing, you don't feel it, but if you're digging in for some intense vibrato or doing bends, things like that, you do feel the Richlite. And Richlite is interesting because if I rank it against the other fretboard materials, Richlite ends up being my least favorite fretboard material, but I don't hate it. I'm not the biggest fan of the material, but I do like how you don't have to worry about conditioning it. I do like how stable it is. It's nice that it's that uniform dark color. And so for those reasons, I don't hate it. Whenever I'm playing a guitar with Richlite, either just for fun or for an extended period of time, I don't hate it. Now let's talk about the playability of this guitar. Now this guitar feels great if you're playing standing up, playing sitting down, even sitting in this kind of classical position. But I do have to note that the output jack, as I've said before, is at a weird place because normally the Abasi guitars, they have the output jack right here coming out like this and it's never in the way no matter how you sit or stand. But this guitar, it has the output jack right here. So if you do like sitting like this and you have a straight cable, it goes right into your leg. So that's kind of weird. That's kind of frustrating. Of course, the bevels, they don't get in the way of your picking hand at all, so that's really nice. But now I have to address the elephant in the room and I have to talk about this overhang. And yes, if you do like playing thumb over the neck style, obviously you can't get past the 12th fret or so right here. It is what it is. If you play thumb behind the neck style though, it isn't really a problem, and it's interesting because I've noticed these Abasi guitars, they must have different builders or something because some of them have the overhang just come to the edge of the neck right here. Some of them, they're a bit more back. And this actually illustrates my point perfectly. I have these two Master Series 8 Laradas, these 8 strings. And you can see on the back, this gold one, or champagne as it's called, whatever. This one just goes to the edge of the neck. But this one, this black one, you could see it actually goes in a bit more. And so at first I was confused. Why does this just go to the edge of the neck when this feels better to play? You can kind of get your thumb up there more. But when you stand up and hang it off of a strap, it becomes clear why they do that. And so the Space T-It has the strap button with the overhang coming to the neck. And the reason they do that is because of balance. This is farther out, so it balances on the strap better. It doesn't neck dive like if you have the strap button further back. I've noticed that black Larada I have, it isn't quite as balanced. It is a bit neck heavy, but this guitar isn't so much. And so that's why they do it. And if you're used to playing with your thumb behind the neck, and as long as you have the guitar high up enough on the strap, it's actually not a problem. Even playing sitting down, you do get used to it. And then in terms of actually like playing the guitar, setting it up, all that, it does play really fast. You can have low action, medium action, whatever you want. It just does it. It feels great to play. So overall, would I recommend this guitar? Well, honestly, it is pricey. So is it worth it? I'd say you have to really want a Larada that's a Telecaster in order to justify getting it. Because it is a fantastic guitar. It sounds amazing. It plays amazing. It's solid. It's high quality. So if it's in your budget and you can buy something like this, then go for it. But do you need a guitar this expensive? Maybe not. Now, why haven't I sold this guitar? I typically play humbucker guitars. I typically play Ibanez. I have some Solars. Sometimes I use my 8-string Laradas. Why haven't I sold this? Well, I'm a huge fan of the sound. It's when I need the sound of these two pickups, then nothing beats it. I also like to just pick it up and play it because it does feel solid to hold. It does feel solid to play. It's a lot of fun. It is fun playing a thicker neck every now and then. And because I usually play humbuckers, it is nice to try and play my riffs, try and play just the typical stuff I play on these. Well, I guess they're not true single coils, whatever these active pickups are. It is nice to hear how it sounds different. So I haven't sold it because I've realized if I was gonna sell this, I would still want like a quote unquote telly style guitar. I know, again, this isn't like a true traditional telly. Purists do hate it, and that's fair. I can see why. But I would want a single cut with two kind of single coils like this. I'd probably go for noiseless versions for my uses. But there would be a void if this guitar was gone. So couple that with how fun it is to play, how well it plays, and it having basically all the specs I like. The stainless steel frets, nice comfortable body with bevels. It being noiseless, I don't have to change the pickups or anything. It does have the locking tuners up here. And, you know, if you're not a fan of locking tuners, that's perfectly fair too. At the end of the day, these are tools for a trade. We're just trying to make music. So if you have something that works for you and it doesn't have locking tuners or stainless steel frets or active electronics or anything like that, that's perfectly fair. Would I change anything about this guitar? Well, maybe I might change the bridge. The vintage ashtray style bridge is pretty interesting. I do prefer the 6-saddle kind of bridge though, but it's not like I hate this bridge. I do like it more than I thought I would. So I've kept it and I don't have any plans on changing that. Sometimes I think about how fun it would be if this was actually like a humbucker guitar. I could use it for more things, but some of the songs I do need 24 frets. This has 22 frets. And that's because my favorite tuning on 6 strings is drop C, and this guitar is in drop C. So if I was playing standard or drop D, I wouldn't miss 24 frets. But that's just for me. So that's been my retrospective review of this guitar. What do you think though? Do you think this is an insane guitar and you'd rather have a traditional telly? Do you think this is a fresh take on a classic? Would you play this guitar? Would you want these specs? And what do you think about this overhang? Be sure to comment down below. If you want to continue the discussion, come join the Discord. We have fun talking about guitar things there. And hey, this is YouTube, so I gotta say the YouTube things. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, print out every frame and mail it. If you're looking for something cool to listen to, I'm on all major streaming services, Heisey Productions. I do some originals and a lot of video game music. And hey, as always, peace.